Today just felt like an herbal tea day, and I am going with tangerine, orange, something or other, and it's got hibiscus, which could be a problem because it's a red tea and I'm wearing a white dress. So, let's just hope I don't spill. But it's delicious and it smells fabulous. And my mug today is Let It Be. And there's a reason behind that. It works perfectly with my musing, which is planes, trains, and panic attacks. Over a year ago, when COVID was on its way to America, my husband sounded the alarm really early. He sounded it back in February of that year, and it really didn't hit us, and we didn't really start shutting down until mid-March, late March. And he watched it, and he knew it was coming. He knew that we were going to have a problem, and he just started preparing. And he bought everything that we would need to make our own hand sanitizer, and we were stocked up on toilet paper and paper towel, and he let my family know, hey, you might want to be aware because this could be a challenge. And so, we were a little bit like doomsday preppers in the fact that we just kind of were ready. I am a recovering germaphobe, just got to tell you that. And I was really surprised that I wasn't totally freaked out, even knowing that this was coming. I was okay. And maybe it was all of the preparation, maybe it was the awareness, maybe it was the fact that I had a little bit of control because I could just hide out in my house. I'm not sure. I just knew that I was going to be okay. And as it came closer and we started seeing issues, people getting sick and so many people hospitalized and so many people dying, I wasn't necessarily worried about myself. I was worried about the people around me. I figured that I'm a pretty healthy gal, and I just figured that I would be okay if I was to get sick, that I could be down, but that there were people around me and they had the pre-existing conditions and they had issues that this sickness, COVID, could take them away from us. And I did not want to be the one that made somebody else get sick. So I very willingly chose into keeping myself safe because I had no desire to transmit it to anybody else. I just didn't want to see anybody near me suffer like that. And so I knew that if I was safe, that I could help contribute to the people's safety around me. So I was very cautious, very aware, very alert. I knew people early on that passed away. I knew people who were very sick and hospitalized. And I knew people that had very little issue with COVID at all. So I personally have experienced the gamut of what COVID has done and can do. And so I maintained it and I chose in because I didn't want to be the reason somebody near me had to go through that and experience it. So my husband and I chose into the socially distanced thing, and we chose into the isolation and saying, no, we're just going to stay at home. We're going to follow the rules. We're going to camp out. And we were a little surprised. Everyone says that I'm the social butterfly, but my husband was the one that really had the challenge of missing out on connecting with our friends and those loved ones that you so desperately want to see and need that connection with. And we did Zoom calls and we were checking in with people that way, and he just really struggled still. And so we found a way to socially distance with like one couple at a time. We even bought wearable sleeping bags so that we could sit outside on this large patio that we have here in the garden, and we would all be in our own little wearable sleeping bags. We'd look like these giant caterpillars just sitting in our chairs out there, and we were 10, 12 feet apart just so that we could say hi to a friend and have a little bit of face-to-face social time. And this helped him a lot, just helped him get through it and survive. Me, on the other hand, I found out that I really like that solo time. And I really, really absolutely cherish those one-on-one moments with a family member or a friend where you can really dig in a little bit deeper and have a deeper conversation and not just the surfacey stuff. You really get to connect. And I cherish those and I love those. And it was very much a new understanding and very much this eye-opening realization that I'm not the social one. I'm the one that likes to be alone. Wait a minute. This was definitely a surprise and a role reversal. It made me wonder how things would be when we returned to normal again, because that's a unique shift. That's a very unique shift. And then it was, how do I return to pre-COVID activities while still honoring the fact that I personally need that quiet time, that grounded time, that one-on-one instead of the big group aspect of things. That brings me a little closer to this story. So COVID is lightening up. My husband and I are vaccinated, and we decided that we were going to go to California. We decided that we needed a little bit of a break. And we were so excited to go out there. We have a little house and we just, it's this peaceful, beautiful place where I love being inspired and love just taking a break from daily life. Now, travel used to be something that was a little bit of a pipe dream for me when I was younger and growing up. It was just this romanticized thing. Oh, traveling the world, that's going to be amazing. And I thought that's something way down in the future. Didn't fully understand how big travel would be for me. And yet I really, really, really wanted to do it, really wanted to experience it. And as I've grown up and been more able to travel, I've even ended up traveling on my own, which I never ever thought I'd do. I thought that I needed somebody with me. I needed a support. And I've gone to Italy and Greece, and I've traveled with groups where I leave my home and I have to meet up with them in some foreign land, and I have to navigate my way there, which has been this beautiful, empowering experience for me to open up and be, yeah, I can totally do this. And I'm a lot stronger and better than I expected. And whereas before my insecurities kept me at home, now those insecurities were turned into these amazing strengths and fabulous experiences that I wouldn't otherwise have had. So travel, going through COVID, going through the challenges, we decided to go to California. We're both fully vaccinated, so we figured not a big deal. How wrong I was. This was huge for me. We got to the airport. Keep in mind, I've traveled a lot. I've traveled by myself. Not a problem. I'm pretty confident in the airport. I know where to go, how to get where I'm going, and I can navigate foreign cities, whether it be like going to an American city that I've never been to or going to Hong Kong or something. I'm okay with that. I got into the airport and all of these reminders were around me. We're in the middle of a pandemic. This is COVID. Everyone needs to be careful. You need to wear your mask. And all of these signs were reminding you, your mask needs to be over your nose and your mouth. Use hand sanitizer, wash your hands, don't touch your face. All of these reminders of we are in a pandemic. This is a big deal and we need to try to keep protecting each other. And for the last year, I've worked so hard to keep myself safe so that those around me are safe. And my germophobia ended up kicking in. We got into line so that we could check in the suitcases, and I needed to use the restroom. So I went and did that. And as I was going into the restroom, I was noticing all of these people who were wearing their mask underneath their nose or under their chin. All of these signs say you need to have them up. And I was wearing my mask and I noticed like somebody didn't wash their hands. That kind of freaked me out. Come out of the bathroom and we go through security. And in the security line, I am giving 6 feet of distance between me and the person in front of me. The person behind me wasn't giving 6 feet of distance, and I was starting to stress a little bit. We get through security, and now we have to go on the train. We go down the escalator, and we get onto the train, and I was so relieved that there were very few people on that train, which meant that I could socially distance on that train. So I was okay. I was breathing. Get off the train, and as I'm getting off, this huge crowd of people were pushing past to get on the train. And my heart rate started going up, and I was starting to stress. We got on the escalator to go up to get into, to find our gate. And as I'm getting on the escalator, people are pushing past me to walk up the escalator. There's no way I can socially distance. My heart goes faster. Suddenly I can't breathe and I start sweating. We get to the top of the escalator and I look for the signs to figure out where our gate is, and I start walking towards our gate, and all of a sudden I am super emotional and I just want to cry and I just want to scream at the same time. My husband looked at me and he said, "Hey, what's going on? Are you okay?" My first reaction My first reaction was self-judgmental. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why my heart's doing this. I don't know why I can't breathe. I don't know why I'm so emotional. And I just wanted to lash out at him. And I stopped. And he stopped and he was like, are you okay? What's wrong? And in that moment, I went in and I recognized that I was having a panic attack, that I was really struggling. And he asked me why, so I went in again and I started saying, well, nobody's wearing their masks right and nobody is social distancing and I'm feeling very like claustrophobic and I just wish people would listen to the rules and I wish people would care and I wish people would just follow the rules so that we could all be okay. And I had to stop myself. In that moment, I recognized that I was blaming every single person around me and I was lashing out at everyone because you're not wearing your mask. You're not following the guidelines. That means you're a threat to me. I was fully vaccinated. I am okay. And yet I wanted to lash out at everyone around me. So I stopped. I put in my little earbuds. I turned on my music. I stepped out of main traffic. I closed my eyes. And I just started to breathe. And I started to ask myself, what can I do to get through this? What do I need for self-care? How can I make things better for me? How can I just be okay? Because I am not okay. And it's okay that I'm not okay. And yet I want to be a little bit better than I am. So what can I do to fix this? And the answer came, you can only control yourself. You cannot control anybody around you. If you decided to yell at these people and say, wear your mask right, you're just going to upset people. There's just going to be a problem. The one person that I can control is myself. I was wearing my mask right. I could breathe. I could recognize that I was safe. I could recognize that I was okay. I could take care of myself. As long as I focused on the outward aspect of the fact that I couldn't control anyone around me and I was annoyed with everyone around me, I was just more and more upset. As soon as I stopped and took responsibility for my own emotions and my own moment at that moment, my heart rate started slowing down. My emotions calmed down and I didn't want to cry anymore. I was intentionally focusing on my breathing, and the deeper my breaths, the slower my heart, the more I was able to relax. The music that I was listening to was calming and reassuring, and it was music that I often listened to just give myself that soothing, nurturing moment when I need it. So I was taking care of myself. I decided to own my own shit in that moment. That's what I teach. That's what I hope for people. Have you ever had an experience like that? Have you ever had an experience when you are in a space and you are just blaming everybody else for that, whatever they've done, whatever is going on? And have you ever stopped to ask yourself why? What's going on with me? What am I afraid of? What am I angry about? What can I do to make this moment better? I practice what I preach. I work really hard to own my own shit. And I was so grateful as I stood there breathing, as I stood there trying to calm myself down, as I stood there trying to figure out what self-care can I do in a very crowded, very active, very public place. What can I do in this moment for me? I was so grateful for that reminder. I was so grateful for the tool that I had to be able to stop and check in. I hope that you're able to stop and check in as well. I hope you're able to start taking that moment and saying, what can I do for me? How can I help make things better? How can I let it be and move past the fear and into the healing?